Okay, well, it's time to talk about a movie that I watched a bit ago here, and this movie is a movie from my childhood. I watched it shitloads when I was younger, and I think it was something about the fact that I was just always fascinated with bugs and, that kind of thing that led me to this movie, like just naturally gravitating as a kid. Now, the movie is supremely grotesque in its nature. It's super, super grody and gross, and it's got all the hallmarks of an early 90's gross out film. And the movie is super, 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 super cringy and goofy. So, yeah, let's talk about Joe's Apartment from 1996. Now, a movie like this could never get made nowadays because I am not kidding. The first thing Joe does when he moves from his hometown to the Big Apple, New York City, the very first thing does is get robbed by a black dude. He actually gets robbed by several guys, but just the mere fact that he gets off the bus and within 2 seconds gets robbed by a black guy is fucking hilarious. And that's a proof that they would never have made a movie like this today. So you've got struggling Joe trying to find an apartment, and he finds this art guy who comes across this other apartment of this lady who, dies or whatever. There's this whole subplot in it, but this is where like you can tell this movie just starts to get super grody because he's in this apartment and it's just this absolute fucking nightmare and just gross, just terrible. The whole movie comes across as just society is just this dark, gross place. And once he gets into his apartment, there's just like, how could you live like that, man? But of course, what the movie actually centers around is the cockroaches that kind of are almost sentient in a way and like have their own little society and move objects and have all these abilities, so to speak. And the little cockroaches look really, really good. Like I don't know if they use CGI or they use some kind of um, uh, some type of stop motion. But yeah, the cockroaches look absolutely phenomenal. So it really plays out like he's playing with these little tiny cockroaches everywhere. So yeah, I mean the whole story is pretty simple. I mean he's got like his apartment. He's trying to find a job and pay for his way in the Big Apple, and they're trying to get the apartment to, for a development condo complex or something, or no, a prison. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, throughout the movie, you've got these just horrifying visions of just cockroaches on things and touching things, and it's just the grossness of, like a rundown apartment with cockroaches running around. It really makes you sick, and I can't believe I was so obsessed with this movie when I was younger because watching it as an adult, it's just so gross. And that's probably a reason this movie never really took off in the major cult classics. Is it's just a revolting viewing. Seeing the cockroaches scurrying all over the place the way they do, seeing the way the apartment is just an absolute like hole in the wall. It's a gross movie, and I would imagine a lot of people just could not watch this or stopped watching it as soon as they started. Speaking of which, there's a scene near the end there where Joe's got his love to be, which is another major part of the movie, that he's trying to, like impress her on a date, so to speak. And they make it so that the cockroaches all fall onto her dress, like in her shirt and stuff. And it's just a horrific scene that just makes you want to puke. The way the cockroaches look good and it looks like it really happened. It's just it's just foul. It's truly foul, and you got to wonder how they actually made that. Did they just throw a whole bunch of cockroaches on this chick's chest? Because it certainly looks like it. This movie is like it's so full of this iconography of just awfully gross looking cockroaches, like the German cockroach. Because if you know anything about bugs, there's all manner of different species of cockroaches. There's the big Madagascar giant hissing cockroach. There's all different species, but it's the German cockroach that is the classic, infestation kind. and it's certainly these kinds, and they're just the way they look is just gross. So yeah, so the movie like just bounces around all these key story plots the whole time. You got Joe trying to find a job, the cockroaches getting him fired, his love interest that he's always going for, and then there's like this gang after him to get his apartment. So I mean, it's got all these elements about it, but it's a pretty short viewing too. So I mean, you can watch it all. I'll have it linked down below. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube if you've never heard of it or seen it. But like I am warning you, it is gross. It is a fucking gross movie. Um, but yeah, it's still pretty good. It's still kind of a classic kind of thing. I remember as a kid, just yeah, because I was like really into bugs and stuff. So I was like, of course, this was right up my alley. Um, yeah, and then you've got some pretty decent performances. Very very goofy or 90's haha bro dude stuff going on. But it's nothing overly terrible. There's a really weird song in this because the cockroaches, of course, all sing and dance and have a whole thing going on. But there's this weird funky towels song that just kicks in kind of out of nowhere when this chick is talking about coming back to his apartment to wash off. And so they're talking about towels, and there's this really weird, funky towels song, and it's just burned into my brain just because it's such a weird scene. It comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you got these cockroaches dancing around talking about funky towel, this gross towel that falls in the toilet, and it's just like it's a fucking weird movie. Like I'm saying, like it's just a weird ass movie, man. So if you're looking for a crazy trip, I'd implore you to check out Joe's Apartment. It is just such a weird, 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 weird movie that most people probably didn't even know existed. So yeah, it's a thing. It exists, and it's not a terribly good or pleasant viewing experience at all, but it does have some entertainment factor. And if you had any nostalgia for it like me, you gotta see it again because after all these years, it's just like I can't believe we were into it because it's such a strange, contrived, bizarre, gross, goofy type of movie that there really isn't anything like it out there. So yeah, I wouldn't call Joe's Apartment necessarily a bad movie, but at the same time, it's definitely not in the lines of the greats. It's thorough. I'd say 6.5 out of 10 material. It's a revolting watch. It's terribly goofy and stupid. But it does have some interesting aspects of it, like the cockroaches that are, basically sentient beings communicating with him and planning and plotting has its merits. Um, and yeah, and just the kind of whimsical story of this guy trying to make it in New York definitely lands at times. But other than that, it's just so corny and so stupid and so goofy and gross that you can't really fault me for not wanting to watch this thing ever again. So yeah, basically that's Joe's Apartment. It's a movie. It exists, so you can watch it for free online or wherever you watch movies. Potentially is. Who knows where it's like standing is. I'd highly doubt they're gonna make a Joe's Apartment too, but it's a 1996 cinematic classic. It was a weird one from my childhood, and yeah, I'd check it out because it's worth seeing, but it's certainly gonna churn stomachs. I'll tell you that for nothing.